Tejo Park sat alone in Seoul National University's small observatory, adjusting the telescope while other students enjoyed their Friday night. The astronomy graduate student preferred the company of stars to people. His professors called him brilliant but lonely. His parents worried he'd never find his place in the world. "Another perfect night," he whispered, focusing on a meteor shower predicted to pass over South Korea. As he recorded data in his notebook, something unusual caught his eye. One light moved differently from the others, changing direction in ways meteors shouldn't. Tejo checked his calculations twice. "That's impossible," he muttered, watching as the object grew brighter. It wasn't following a natural trajectory. The light suddenly flared and disappeared below the horizon, followed by a distant flash in the forest outside Seoul. His scientific curiosity overrode caution. Grabbing his backpack with water, first aid kit, and flashlight, Tejo hiked into the dense woods. The summer air felt heavy with humidity as he followed the coordinates he'd calculated. After 2 hours of difficult hiking, Tejo spotted broken tree branches leading to a small clearing. There, partially buried in soil, sat a metallic pod unlike anything human-made. Its surface shimmered with strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly. "Hello?" he called nervously, approaching the craft. "Is anyone there?" A section of the pod suddenly slid open with a soft hiss. Tejo jumped back, heart racing. Inside lay a female figure with pale blue skin that seemed to glow slightly in the darkness. Her features were almost human except for delicate patterns across her face and arms that pulsed with light. She wore what looked like ceremonial clothing now torn and stained. Most shocking was the dark purple liquid seeping from a wound on her side. The being's eyes fluttered open. Large silver irises focused on him. "Help," she whispered in perfect Korean, though her mouth movements didn't match the sound. "Please help me." Tejo hesitated only a moment before his humanity overcame his fear. "You're hurt," he said, kneeling beside the pod. "I have some medical supplies." As he reached for his first aid kit, the alien woman weakly grabbed his wrist. A small device on her neck pulsed. "My translator works," she said. "I am Nari, third princess of the Stellar Assembly. Hunters follow me. Not safe." Tejo cleaned and bandaged her wound as best he could with his limited supplies. "This isn't enough," he said. "You need proper medical care." Nari shook her head desperately. "No hospitals. They will find me. My ship's emergency beacon activated when I crashed. My people will come, but not soon enough." She winced in pain. "The hunters will arrive first." "Who's hunting you?" Tejo asked, helping her sit up. "The Void Coalition. They want war with my people. I discovered their plans." Her silver eyes met his. "If they find me, they will kill anyone who helps me." Tejo made a quick decision. "My apartment is small, but you can hide there until your people come." He helped Princess Nari from the pod, supporting her weight as she struggled to walk. She retrieved a small crystal device and pressed something on the crashed vessel. The pod hummed briefly before sinking deeper into the earth, covering itself with soil until no trace remained. "Self-burial protocol," she explained. "No evidence." The journey back took twice as long with Nari leaning heavily on him. Dawn was breaking as they finally reached his tiny apartment near campus. Tejo helped her to his bed and gave her water. "Why help me?" she asked softly as he checked her bandages. "Your world knows nothing of us. We've kept ourselves hidden." Tejo smiled slightly. "Because you needed help. It doesn't matter where you're from." Nari's expression showed surprise, then understanding. "My people have watched humans for centuries. Your kindness confirms what we've observed." Her eyes began to close with exhaustion. "Thank you, Earthman." "Tejo," he corrected gently. "My name is Tejo Park." "Tejo," she repeated, the silver in her eyes dimming as she drifted to sleep. "Remember this day. It changes everything." As Nari slept, Tejo closed the blinds and looked at the ordinary world outside his window. He had a feeling nothing would ever seem ordinary again. 3 days passed since Teho brought Princess Nari to his apartment. Her wound was healing quickly, faster than any human recovery he had ever seen. The soft blue glow of her skin had brightened, which she explained was a sign of improving health among her people. "How long until your rescue team arrives?" Teho asked while preparing a simple breakfast of rice and vegetables. Nari touched the small device on her neck. "My beacon signal is weak. Perhaps 2 more weeks." She looked out the window cautiously. "But the hunters may already be here." That afternoon, Teho noticed men in dark suits questioning students outside the university library. They showed photos on tablets and spoke with unusual accents. Something about their movements seemed wrong, too smooth, too calculated. When he returned to his apartment, Nari was standing perfectly still by the window. "They're here," she whispered, her silver eyes wide. 3 coalition hunters. They can sense my energy signature if they get close enough." Teho peeked through the blinds. 2 men in suits stood at the building entrance, while another walked slowly along the street holding a small device that pulsed with light. "We need to leave," Teho said, grabbing his backpack. "Is there anything that can block your energy signature?" Nari nodded. "Water. Large bodies of water interfere with their scanners." Teho quickly filled water bottles and gathered food while Nari changed into clothes he had borrowed from a female neighbor. With her blue skin covered and a hat hiding her luminescent hair, she could pass for human from a distance. They slipped out through the back exit just as the hunters entered the building. Teho led her toward the university campus where the underground maintenance tunnels could provide a path to the Han River. "How do they track you?" Teho asked as they hurried through back streets. "My people, the Luminari, emit unique energy patterns," she explained. "The hunters have technology that detects these patterns. They're not fully human anymore. The coalition modifies their bodies for hunting." They reached the science building just as darkness fell. Using his student ID, Teho accessed the maintenance entrance. The tunnels were dimly lit and smelled of dampness. They followed the maze-like passages that Teho knew from his late-night explorations. "You know these tunnels well," Nari observed. Teho smiled slightly. "I spend too much time alone on campus. Exploring helps me think." A sound echoed behind them. Footsteps. The hunters had followed them into the tunnels. "Run," Teho whispered, taking Nari's hand. They sprinted through the dark passages, turning at intersections Teho remembered from his previous explorations. Behind them, the footsteps grew louder. A strange humming noise filled the air. "They've activated their enhanced senses," Nari said, her voice tight with fear. They reached a junction where the tunnel split 3 ways. Teho hesitated, trying to remember the correct path. Suddenly, the ceiling above them groaned. The old concrete was cracking, weakened by recent heavy rains. "This way." Teho pulled Nari toward the right passage, just as chunks of concrete began falling. A large piece broke free directly above him. Nari's eyes flashed silver. She raised her hand and the falling concrete slowed in midair, hanging suspended for a moment before dropping harmlessly behind them. The cave-in blocked the passage between them and their pursuers. Teho stared at her in shock. "How did you—" "A small manipulation of energy," she said, suddenly looking weak. "My people can control kinetic forces, but it drains us greatly." "You saved my life," Teho said, supporting her as they continued through the tunnel. Nari's eyes met his. "Among my people, saving a life creates a bond. We are now connected, Teho Park." They emerged from the tunnels near the river as sirens sounded behind them. The cave-in had triggered university alarms. In the confusion, they slipped away toward the water. "We need somewhere safe," Teho said, helping the weakened princess along the riverbank. Nari touched his arm. "I feel our connection growing stronger. It shouldn't happen this quickly with a non-luminari." "What does that mean?" Teho asked. Before she could answer, lights appeared in the sky above them. Not the hunters, but new arrivals. A small craft hovered silently over the river, its surface reflecting the water below, making it nearly invisible. "People?" Nari whispered, relief in her voice. "They found us sooner than expected." She looked at Teho with wonder. "Because of you." Our connection must have amplified my beacon. The craft descended toward them, silent as a falling leaf. The sleek craft hovered silently above the river, casting ripples across the water's surface. A beam of soft light extended downward, enveloping both Tejo and Princess Nari. Tejo felt a strange weightlessness as they floated upward into the vessel. Inside, 3 figures waited. Unlike Nari, their skin was deeper blue, with more pronounced luminescent markings. All wore fitted uniforms bearing symbols similar to those on Nari's damaged clothing. The tallest stepped forward, pressing a fist to his chest in what appeared to be a formal salute. "Princess, we feared the worst," he said, the translation coming through clearly to Tejo's ears. The guard's silver eyes shifted to Tejo with obvious suspicion. "Who is this human?" "Captain Han," Nari replied with quiet authority. "This is Tejo Park. He saved my life and has protected me from coalition hunters." Captain Han studied Tejo carefully. "A human helping without understanding the consequences? Unusual." Tejo stood straight despite his fear. Princess Nari needed help. That's all that mattered. The captain's expression softened slightly. "Your species continues to surprise us." He turned to a female officer. "Officer G, scan him." Officer G approached with a crystal device similar to the one Nari carried. She passed it over Tai-Ho, and it emitted a soft chime. Her eyes widened. "Captain, the human shows signs of an energy bond. Level 3 already." The third luminary, an older female with intricate markings, stepped forward. "Impossible. No off-worlder has ever formed a bond beyond level 1. Nari touched her side where her wound had nearly healed. "It's true, Elder Su. I felt it forming when he saved me from the crash. It strengthened when he risked his life to hide me." Elder Su examined Tejo more carefully. "Human, did the princess explain what this means?" "She mentioned a connection forms when someone saves a luminary life," Tejo replied, feeling increasingly uncomfortable under their scrutiny. "It is far more than a simple connection," Elder Su explained. "The life bond is sacred among our people. It creates a family tie that transcends biology." Captain Han interrupted. "We should continue this discussion aboard the main vessel. Coalition. Hunters will trace our landing soon." The small craft ascended rapidly into the night sky. Through a clear section of the floor, Tejo watched Sol's lights grow smaller until they joined the stars. Minutes later, they docked with a much larger ship hiding in Earth's orbit. In a private chamber, Princess Nari changed into formal attire, while medical staff examined her wound. Tejo sat awkwardly in a room unlike anything he'd ever seen, walls shimmering with living light. Elder Su entered, carrying a drink for him. "This will help with the transition sickness humans experience in space." "Thank you," Tejo said, sipping the sweet liquid. "Can you explain more about this bond?" Elder Su sat across from him. "The luminary evolved as a highly connected species. Our survival depended on forming deep bonds with those who protected us. When someone saves a luminary life, an energy exchange begins. Normally, with non-luminary, this creates only a mild connection, level 1. You and the princess have reached level 3. What does that mean? It means you are now family in our culture. Not by marriage or romantic connection, but something equally meaningful. Chosen family." Elder Su's eyes studied him. "Your neural patterns must be unusually compatible with our energy. This is why your bond formed so quickly." Captain Han entered with Princess Nari following. She wore formal robes that enhanced her natural luminescence. "The council will arrive soon," Han announced. "They will want to understand how a human achieved such a bond." Nari approached Tejo. "There's more you should know. Earth has been protected by the Stellar Assembly for centuries. Your species has remarkable potential but needs time to develop, without outside interference." "Protected from what?" Tejo asked. "From the greater galaxy," Captain Han replied. "Not all species are peaceful. The coalition seeks to exploit developing worlds." Nari took Tejo's hands. "Your actions have changed everything. The Council will offer you a choice. Return to Earth with no memory of these events or join my family court as official Earthkin. I would forget everything? Teho asked, the thought unexpectedly painful. It is our protocol for protecting Earth, Elder Su said gently. But the bond you share with Princess Nari offers another path, one no human has been offered before. Teho made his decision without hesitation. I want to remember everything. I'll join your court. The Luminary Council members arrived the next day, 7 elders whose skin glowed with intricate patterns that shifted as they moved. They examined Teho with curious silver eyes, asking him questions about Earth and his life as a student. The bond is genuine, announced the head counselor, an ancient luminary named Elder Kang, first human Earthkin in our recorded history, a significant moment. Within hours, Teho found himself aboard a larger vessel traveling faster than light. Princess Nari explained they used fold space technology to cross vast distances quickly. Through viewing windows, Teho watched stars stretch into brilliant lines of light. Where are we going? He asked, still struggling to believe he had left Earth behind. Lumina Prime, our homeworld, Nari replied. The heart of the stellar assembly. Captain Han approached with a serious expression. Princess, urgent message from Central Command. The Coalition has issued demands. They claim you stole strategic information during your escape. Nari's face darkened. I discovered their invasion plans for the outer systems. They fear I'll expose them. There's more, Han continued. They threaten to reveal Earth's location to mercenary groups if you don't surrender within 7 rotations. Teho felt cold fear. They would attack Earth? Not directly, Nari explained, but there are those who would harvest resources or conduct experiments on developing worlds. Earth has been hidden from them by our protection. 3 days later they arrived at Lumina Prime. The planet glowed like a blue jewel against the darkness of space. Its 3 moons formed a perfect triangle above the capital city, a sprawling metropolis of crystal towers and flowing architecture. In the royal palace, Teho received clothing appropriate for his new status as Earthkin. The material adjusted to his body temperature and moved like water against his skin. Palace staff taught him basic customs and proper greetings for the diplomatic meeting. The Coalition representatives arrive tomorrow, Nari explained during dinner. They will demand I return to face charges of theft. Can't you just show the Council what you discovered? Teho asked. The information is locked in an encryption only I can access. Coalition technology creates mental safeguards when viewing sensitive materials. Her expression grew troubled. But the process of revealing it could damage my mind. That night, unable to sleep, Teho wandered to the palace library. The vast collection contained physical books alongside crystal data storage. As he browsed titles in a script he couldn't read, Elder Su found him. Curious even at this hour, she observed. A good quality. I want to understand more about the Coalition and your technology, Teho explained. Elder Su activated a display showing ancient devices. These are relics from our earliest days, technology that responded to our energy patterns. Over time, we developed interfaces for other species to use. Teho studied the images. They look similar to equipment in our physics lab, but more advanced. Your species thinks differently, Elder Su said. Humans see patterns where we see only chaos. An idea formed in Teho's mind. The Coalition encryption. It's designed for luminary minds. What if a human tried to access it? The next morning, during the tense diplomatic meeting, Coalition representatives demanded Nari's extradition. Their leader, Ambassador Do, spoke with calculated precision. Princess Nari violated security protocols. The information must be returned and the thief punished. I propose an alternative, Teho suddenly interrupted, causing murmurs among both delegations. As Earthkin to Princess Nari, I offer to attempt retrieval of the information. Ambassador Do laughed coldly. Human minds cannot process our security systems. Perhaps that's exactly why it might work, Teho replied.